All right. Oh, whoops. Got some writing over my face. That, well. Another Friday is here. We are at it again. Let's just get all the tech together. Some new stuff. There's a whole bunch of things in front of me, in front of this screen. I like to play with the tech things a little bit. And let me get my drink. I told you guys, get yourself something to drink, grab yourself a snack, sit back, relax. Let's get to talking. It's been quite the week. Whoops. Yeah, okay. I think we're good there. It's been quite the week for me, anyway. It's been pretty crazy, but struggle through it. Not really struggle through it, more like push through it. Get through it, get things done, and here I am. One more time. Hola, Dr. Ray. So, without wasting any time, hopefully, based on last week's call, some of you were able to look at your routines, look at what you're doing, look at how you're getting it done, and identify where you should make some adjustments. Some things. Let me move this one up here. That's a little bit better. Uh, where you need to make any adjustments, kind of identify, what the daily routines are, what the morning routines are, the afternoon routines are, stuff like that. We all have the common factor. Well, not we all, but a lot of us, is we have jobs. We go to work, right? I go to work every day. I deal with Lex. Lex is over here doing her thing. All right, calm down. It's just me. And I've got my routines pretty well down packed. I don't really use alarm clocks and stuff like that anymore. I just naturally get up at a certain time. Well, within a time window. And then I decide at that point, do I want to go back to sleep or do I want to get up and get things going? That's part of my routine. And then once I'm up, then, there's a whole routine before I get started for work. Once that's going, then there's my afternoon routine. So then you got my dailies. Then I have my weekly routines, things that I do every week. Like this. This is one of them. I've been doing this for a few months now. Few months. It's been a good time. I've been enjoying it. I like looking back at my ability to talk to myself because there's nobody here, right? It's just me and Lex, but I talk to Lex all the time. So I get lots of practice with that. But I'm able to see that my rambling has stopped a lot. But I mean, it's still here. At some point in time tonight, I know I will ramble off into something because it's just one of those things that I do. But I'm okay with it. It's not that big of a deal. The drink of choice today is just Coke. Nothing else. Right now, anyway. Just kind of dealing with it. But what we wanted to talk about today, forget the plan, forget the routines, forget all of that stuff. I mean, those are all important. Let's push those things aside for a quick sec and let's look at how do you look at yourself, right? That's a pretty important part in, evolving into that better version of you, right? Getting to where it is you want to go. It kind of starts with how you see yourself. And, how you see yourself is more than just what you see in the mirror when you get up in the morning, because you really don't need a mirror to look at yourself. You can look at yourself based on the actions that you do, right? Step outside of yourself for a moment and look at the things that you've done today. Just use today as an example. The things that you've done, do they add value to your life? Are they taking from your life? And you have to have that ability to see when it comes, and those are your actions, right? But then there's the physical part, which we talked about, which is the mirror. When you stand in front of the mirror and you look at yourself, I don't know if any of you saw the pic that I posted up for the event. It was a cat looking in the mirror and seeing a lion. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Right? There's so much insecurities out there, and people are so afraid to do anything as well as everything all at the same time, right? And you got to change the way you look at yourself. A lot of people will look in the mirror and be like, "Oh, like okay, take me for example. I look in the mirror, I see this big giant ball of a person. Okay, great. That's physically what I look like. Cool. I'm all right with that. I can walk, I can talk, I can work. All my limbs work. If I think that I'm too big, I can go work out, right? There's some people that can look at themselves and they can't walk. They can't do the physical things. It's a very different view. But just look at yourself. Look at the things about you. Do you see something you don't like? Maybe it's your hairdo. Maybe it's your facial hair. Maybe it's, I don't know, marks on your face. Something. It's something. And you have the power to change anything. What stops you from changing it? But you got to look at yourself and you got to believe in that person that you see when you're looking in the mirror. Because that person that's there can do anything. The person in the mirror can do anything. The person doing the looking, which is you, is what stops them. Why? Why do you stop them? Like I told you before, we overcomplicate everything. It's the thinking, the thinking, the thinking. You know, the what if and what happens and the effort involved. We spend all that time doing that. We never take any action. Right? Sooner or later, you're going to come to the realization that time is going to pass you by regardless, regardless of anything. Whether you stand still, whether you do nothing, whether you do something, time's going. Doesn't wait for any of us. Nobody. So let me go back to myself for an example. When I look in the mirror, what do I see? I see an old guy. I see an old guy with lots of fight in him, right? I refuse. I refuse to give up. Oh, let me just enable the comments here. I refuse to give up. I refuse to conform into the patterns that I grew up seeing. Oh, what I mean by that is my parents migrated here. They left everything they knew and they came here to give me and my sisters a better opportunity, right? Now, growing up here, because I was a baby when I came here. So I'm pretty much born here. Growing up here, I'm observing how this place works. And for me, throughout the course of my life, I had to follow what I learned, which was watching them get a job, work that job day in, day out, value the job, kind of take what you get and make these life things happen, you know? Well, there was already wife, kids was already there, so now it's house, cars, things like that, living, some traveling, that sort of stuff, making all of that come to place. But me, when I look in the mirror, I remember all those things. I remember all those things. And this guy, I look at this guy. This guy is capable of doing all of those things. My circumstance is a little bit different, right? No wife, no kids. Lex is here, which everyone knows she lives a good life. There she is, right? Hey, Lex. Lex, want to make a grand appearance? There she is. She lives a good life, right? I take care of her. We'll go out walking. We'll go out eating. We'll eat together. We have a good time. Gotta do what I gotta do. But back to the that life structure of doing all of these things and following that method that they practice. There's nothing wrong with it. It works, right? But they brought us here for better opportunities for us. I mean, outside for themselves, but more so for us. And if I don't learn to make this place work for me, and and this is just my personal opinion, I kind of let them down in that matter. If I lived the life that they lived and didn't do better, right, through their eyes, how would they see it? No evolution? I'm a Everyone who knows me, I'm a person of lots of ability. The things I can do with my hands, it's incredible. I can build all kinds of things. I can fix all kinds of things, right? My mind. I'm a research guy. If I don't know how to do it, it doesn't stop me from not doing something. I will take the time and figure out how to get it done. And that's kind of look at what I'm doing right now. 5 years ago, 1 year ago, you think I'd be sitting here doing live streams every Friday, talking about things that I've done, things that I've overcome? Why do I do it? What am I doing it for? I hope somebody's looking at this and it will shorten your struggle just by that much, just that little bit. If you're in a position and you're like, well, I don't know, I want to do something, but I don't know how. And I saw this guy's thing and he said XYZ. And wait, that's really shortens my journey. That's the idea. That's what it's for. Having things stuck in your head, holding it to yourself, that's not really valuable to anybody, right? Like take my job for example. I don't hold back the things I know how to do. I teach my team how to do it. Does that mean that my team can replace me? Of course they can. That's the way of the world. You're not going to live forever. I'm not planning to be there forever. I'm making sure that they can handle it for when I'm not there anymore. I have bigger plans than to stay here and work an entire career path in one place, right? And this was something that my parents did, right? They had these jobs, they valued the jobs, they stick to the job. That job brought the income in, and they ran through that till to retirement, right? Both of my parents had, you know, I think my mom was the same company her entire working career in Canada. And my dad was a few until he found the one. And then that one was and these jobs spend what, 30 years plus? That's a lot of dedication. That's a lot of dedication. I I'm not built like that. I don't have that dedication. The job I'm at right now, it's got to be the longest place I've ever worked in my lifetime of working. My path is different now. The purpose of me working is different now, right? I have a much broader vision of what it is I want to do and how I'm going to go about getting it done, right? Everything is a process, right? I told you guys last week that I mapped out this 10-year plan, right? That 10-year plan takes will take actions. Where I'm at right now is I'm executing the actions. It doesn't matter how slow it is. I have a 10-year timeline. That's what I set for it. But I'm getting things done. I keep it progressively in that direction, keep moving in that direction. Now, at the same time, we all know I live. I'm not about work, 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 learn all the time and do nothing. No. Say all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. I am not Jack. I don't want to be a dull boy either. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure people will say that I'm boring because I stay home. I'm, I'm, I'm past the point of going anywhere. I'm cool being at home. Put on some mellow tunes, sit back, fight with Lex, have a couple drinks, order some food, cook something, just mellow out. Write some ideas down on the whiteboards, write them down in the notebooks, plan out the things that I'm going to do. The weekend's here, right? I'm grown enough to not like, yeah, I'm going to do whatever. All my days are planned. I have things to do. I need to plan them out, utilize the time. That's just me. I like to utilize my time. It is rare that I'm going to spend a day sitting around doing nothing. It'll happen, you know. I'll spend the day sitting watching TV all day long. That actually happened last week because I was watching this show called. Well, I'll tell you what it's called. Love Is Blind. Some show on Netflix. Super entertaining. It was definitely entertaining to watch. But again, day was done. No problem. No big deal. Everything I needed to do for the weekend was done Saturday. So Sunday was kind of up in the air anyway. So not really any loss of anything. But I do that, and we all know I like to travel. But we all know I like to travel, and the restrictions are finally coming down everywhere. So it just means I'm gonna travel more. Why? Because that's what I like to do. It's fun for me. I like to unplug. My work here is demanding. It takes a lot of brain power to do my job, and you know, I'd much rather sit here and use my brain to do my work than using my body like I used to. As mentioned before, I used to work a lot with my hands, cars, music, you know, fiddling stuff, and inside, outside, all throughout the year. I'm in a four climate country. Eventually, that's going to take a toll. So a long time ago, I decided, you know what? I want to start using my brain to generate income and stop using my body. Now, why was I using my body? This goes right back to what I saw while growing up, right? Um, that's what my dad did. I worked with my dad a lot, right? He's the Mr. Fix It guy. Gasoline engines, diesel engines, that sort of things. Construction. We worked on everything. We built cars. We built music together. Big, big car audio systems together. Fiberglass, wood, metal, all kinds of things. Hydraulic cars, air suspension cars. He got involved in all of it. He enjoyed taking part of a lot of these builds, and even up to now, he's old. He's retired. He's in his late 70s now, but in his mind, he's 18. So like he can do everything, but when it gets down to his body and hands to translate it, it doesn't come out the same way, and it frustrates him. And when it frustrates him, then he starts to pick on me. And because I don't back off, I'm not that kind of a guy. Then I'm going to pick back, and then we end up in these arguments. But you know what? It's all it's all good. I mean, I don't want to argue with him, and I don't want him to be upset with me for a long period of time. Well, a small period is okay. You know, it, it keeps him active, getting him a little frustrated because he'll be like, you know what? Go smoke a cigarette and come back. Things like that, and then he'll go and do it on his own. But when it gets warmer, I'm sure we'll start working on something. Maybe I'll do some lives while working with him, and you'll see how entertaining it can be. But yeah, back to my brain and using my brain to generate income and letting go of the physical work, not just work, 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 not just learn, 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 learn. And I've told you guys throughout this that I sit on masterminds throughout the week. I pay for courses, I take courses, a lot of online courses. I read stuff, I learn how to do things. Like, um, I'll I'll take some pictures of this setup that's here right now. There's some more toys to add to it, but this setup I just built last weekend. I built this setup. There's things like here. You can see here comes the mic right here. I think I'm mute. There we go. There's another one right here. There's one camera here. There's one camera here, and there's one camera here, and then there's room for another one over here. And everything is on arms that articulate, move around to set it up, allowing me to work on multiple platforms at the same time. Why do I have all of this? Because I saw it and I thought it was cool. So let me figure out how to set it up, how to make it all work. Will I use it for now? Will I use it forever? I don't know. Should I rent this spot out to let somebody else come and do something like this? Why not? It's a great idea. I built it. It's all here. Will somebody come and use it? 100%. Just because of two things. One is the ability to do all of it all at the same time. Plus, you have me to talk to. Who doesn't want to come and talk to me? And Lex, who's sleeping again. Oh, she's on this side now. But yeah, that's how I see myself. I got lots of fight in me. I'm not ready to roll over and just conform to society and how it should be and what I should do. And, you know, you should stop driving around playing music. You should stop building systems in your car. You should stop buying all kinds of, gadgets. Why? I work. What do I work for? I work to acquire things. That's the whole premise behind it. I'm not starving. She is clearly not starving. We have a roof over our head. We have vehicles to take us around. We do what we want. That's the purpose of going to work. If I didn't go to work, what am I going to do? Lock the money up somewhere? The money that needs to be locked up gets locked up. The money that needs to pay the expenses pays the expenses. The money that's put to travel, it's put aside to travel. I think I showed you guys that last time. Show you. Travel fund, Canadian US. This gets this gets donations constantly. Why? Because I'm going to travel. There's no way around it, right? And there's a bunch of people that want to travel. Get at me. Let's travel. The more, the merrier. It's fun. Group traveling is fun. But years ago, I would sit and wait and wait and wait for the group to go travel. And that's how I never did travel. I did not start traveling till maybe about a decade ago. And ever since then, I've been on lots of flights. Lots of flights. Been to a bunch of places. I've been to some places multiple times because I like it. I like the change of the environment. Most importantly, what I like is the change of the temperature. I'm not big on the cold. Never have been. Um, I like where the beach is. I like where the water is warm. I like being near the water. Sun is hot. You don't hear me complaining when it's hot. Not this guy. Nope. Oh, you'll hear me complain when it's cold, all right. Definitely not when it's hot. So yeah, whoever wants to do some traveling, get at me. Let's get on it, right? It's really not that difficult to make that happen. Look, something as simple as this box, this little box here, over time makes it possible, which goes right back to what? It's just the right plan. You just need a plan in place. Look, tomorrow morning when you get up and you're brushing your teeth, tonight when you go to the bathroom, stand in front of the mirror, take that extra moment, cross your arms, look at that person, be like, what is stopping us? And when I say us, because you're talking to that person and you're also talking to yourself, what is stopping us from doing the things we want to do? Give it a rest. What's stopping us from doing the things we want to do? Ask yourself that question. If you have a partner with you, after you have that conversation, go talk to them. Be like, hey, I was just watching Dez's live and he talked about how he likes to travel and how he does it all the time. Why don't we travel? It's going to come. And, if you're going to say it's the affordability thing, then it's just you're following the wrong plan. That's really not, you got to figure a way to not let that stop you from living the life you want. Changes might have to be made. Make the changes. Who benefits from it? You do. Do you want to wait until you're 65 years old and then say, well, you know, I haven't really done anything. Let me start doing some stuff now. What do you think you're going to do at 65 years old if you exhausted yourself getting to that point? Are you going to enjoy traveling? Are you going to be all right sitting on a plane for, 8, 10, 15, 24 hours? Nah, your trips are going to be short. You're going to fly to Buffalo because you can't sit still on the plane because you're all seized up. Which means, how are you going to get across the world? How are you going to go see the great white sharks in Australia? Right? It's a long flight. How are you going to go climb up an inactive volcano just to look down into the crater? I want to do that. You know what I mean? And a lot of thing that comes with that as well is you got to take care of yourself. You got to eat better. Got to be a little bit more active. Listen, I am not the smallest guy. Not even close. But I'm not big and lazy. I'm not big and incapable of doing things. And just because I'm big doesn't mean I'm not going to try to squeeze myself into some small spaces. What are you going to do? I mean, yeah, there's limitations being my size. I can't go skydiving. I'm too heavy. They won't let me do it. Now, is it important enough for me to do something about that to be able to skydive? Sooner or later, I'll get there. Make the plan. Make the better choices. Change the routine. I have super always willing to go, ready to go company right here to go do some activity. She'll walk and walk and walk and walk until she can't walk anymore. Then she just comes back home and sleeps. But it's cold outside. At least one good thing we have is she don't like it. I don't like it. She likes to go out there when the snow is freshly down and falling and it's out there and unhook her leash and let her just go crazy and, put her footprints everywhere. She likes that. But when it's freezing out there, she just goes out, handles her business. She's like, let's go back inside. Works for me. No complaints. But but yeah, I can, eventually I'll get to do that. But until then, there's other things I can do. There's lots of things I can do, and I'm gonna do it. Just because you don't see me out and about everywhere in the city doesn't mean I'm not making moves elsewhere, right? Before you see me in the club every weekend, every week here, you're more likely to see me on a beach somewhere once a month. That's more valuable to me because how I look at it is the point that I'm at in my life now. For me to go out to these places and do things, there comes a certain cost. Okay, so I'm going to look at, all right, well, what's the cost? I'm not going to drive, not involved in drinking and driving. We all know it. I'm good with the drinks and all that stuff. We're like, well, if I don't go, don't get me wrong, I used to go out all the time. At the point in my life, I was out every day of the week, one end of the city to a couple cities over. Whatever was going on that day, I was there. After a short while, it got boring. It got played out. It wasn't for me. And then, came to the weekends, consistent, religiously, week after week after week after week. At the time, it was exciting. It was what I wanted to do. I was out there amongst the people. You know everybody. You walk in, everybody. Right. Right. Now, I could care less. I could care less. I am fine sitting at home with the music playing. The DJ is always on point. The bar never closes. The washroom's always available and it's always clean. Kitchen is always open. And what do you want? Right? And I'm open. Whoever wants to come by, come by. It's no big deal. Just have a good time. And then Alexa's here. Alexa will sleep. She'll wake up. We'll fight a little. She'll go back to sleep. She'll wake up again. She does. If I cook something, she'll wake up. She's got this FOMO thing happening. This fear of missing out. She thinks that if she falls asleep, I'm going to eat something and she's not going to get any. That's not the case. She's a good girl. But yeah, hey, somebody wants to come by, hang out, talk, have some drinks, sit live on this, sit here, in here. There's two mics. Give you a mic. You can talk. Be a part of it. More than welcome. Eventually it'll get to that. But for now, you're just stuck with me. As much fun as that is. Oh, I didn't even realize the time. Let me see. See, I told you I ramble on. Oh, we passed the 30-minute mark. Oh, well, remember I told you time doesn't wait for nobody? Time just keeps on going. Time flies when you're having fun. I'm having a good old time. All that's missing is I'm going to pour myself an actual drink. Should I come off and do it? Or should I go get it now? I'll wait. It's no rush. But I am going to be trying something different today. You know what? I'll post a picture of it. I got something new. I ordered it from far away. As the next place. Well, I'll tell you where I'm traveling to next. When I get there, I don't say beforehand. Just like to go and show up. I'll do this from some other place, like when I was in Mexico. No one knew I was going to Mexico until I got there, and they saw this and like, hey, what are you doing in Mexico? Like, well, had to get the shots, so let me travel. What I can tell you is, what is it? It's the 4th. So the next scheduled travel. Oh, you want to come, huh? All right. The next travel segment is one, two, three, about 4 weeks away, maybe three. We'll say 3 to 5 weeks away. I haven't booked it yet. I'm not. I'm not this book things 6 months in advance. That's no. I might think 6 months in advance of few places I want to go and just kind of narrow it down. And usually 2 weeks before, week before, I've even booked trips the day before, flew out the next day. Why? Why not? Why not? The biggest difficulty that I have is somewhere for, but now I've got a dedicated pair. They do a great job. Oh, the message is drop. I think Oh, I think you said Aruba. Aruba? Nah, not yet. Wait till all of this is done and go to Aruba. The Yeah, as I was saying, now I got a couple that looks after her anytime I need. It's good. I don't mind paying. Um, I'm happy with how they are with her. She's clearly happy to see them. It works. And they send me lots of updates while she's there. Yeah. So the next traveling is coming. And then let me see. And then the next one is a couple weeks after that. Yeah. And then I know there's one a couple weeks after that. So there'd be lots of traveling throughout this year. And again, what do you go to work for? What? What is it you go to work for? It's not just to pay bills. If you're just going to work and all you can do is pay bills, you're working in the wrong place. You gotta change that. You gotta change the way you're thinking about it. There's a whole life out there waiting for you to live it. Stand in front of the mirror, cross those arms, be like, why aren't we living that life? What is it? For anyone who's single, even worse. That's even worse. Why aren't you doing it? Like, I get people that, wives, kids, mortgages, all of that stuff, right? That's your circumstances are a little bit different, but that's not a reason to not do it, right? And as I said, a lot of it is, oh, let me deal with all of these things first, and then I'll go. What happens if you die? What happens if you don't make it? What happens if you, I don't know, uh, break your hip, replace your knee, and your physical limitations? Because as you age, right, the recovery is harder. I'll tell you that firsthand, right? I I used to get cut a lot because of my work. Healing is quick. I will still heal from cuts and stuff relatively quick. But last what was that? August. Last August, um, I got a cut on my leg from a piece of fiberglass. I was cutting up a boat to scrap it. And it cut my leg and it took, I'm gonna say, four, at least 4, maybe 5 months to heal. October, I was at a marina, slipped on the dock, fell, and landed on my knee. Left all skinned up there on the ground on the dock, but I got up. Those people that are there. At the time, it wasn't funny, but afterward, it was like quite the big laugh to see me, you know, skinned up like a crapo frog on the dock. But that bang on my knee lasted at least 6 weeks, maybe 8. I was limping for the longest time, and Lex is a 100-pound dog. So I have to know how to walk her, or else she'll pull me off balance because I'm not really stable. But again and again, I'm just saying this as this is something that comes with age, right? What? I'm almost 50 years old. I'm out there. But if I look back on the life I lived, my life now in the past 5 years, everything prior to the last 5 years has kind of been wherever, whatever, whenever, however. The last 5 years has started to create some focus. Now it just becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, right? And that focus is very fixed. It's very direct on what I have to do, how I have to do it, where I need to go. Now, all of those things aside, you got to have balance. You got to live. Now, today, and in this whole thought process of all of this, I decided to do something else, right? Because I'm home, right? Fridays, I do this on Fridays. And in a sense of balance, there's the dumb side of me too, right? So I think I'm going to start doing something on Saturdays called what's a good name for it? A Saturday night stupidity was Des, where I will just ramble on about the dumb things that come to me throughout the course of the week. Oh, because all kinds of things come. There's and I told you that I talk to people throughout the week. People come to me with a lot of their questions, comments, stuff like that, or ask the house and stuff. And it's just I won't like say anything too directed about somebody, but there's a lot of things that are happening, and then there's the stuff that I read, things that I see. There's and that'll just have that stupidity segment. That one, 100%. That one will be drinking, guaranteed. And the same thing. Well, maybe we'll get some people to come on board and sit in on it because it's all about just having that good time, right? You can't just work all the time. It can't just be work, 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 work. I'm telling you, it's not. You'll do that right now, and you'll call yourself dedicated, disciplined, all of these things. You will. You will. You will. You will. Time's gonna pass you by, and you may have accomplished something, but not until you get there you're gonna realize at what cost. What did you lose? Right? None of us are playing this game to lose. Nobody. Not me, not you, not anybody. We're all playing this game to win. Playing to have a good time. Playing to have experiences. Now, in the idea of making the better version of you and making your dreams come to light and having all the things you wanted in your future, right? It doesn't mean you can't live a little in between. Well, yeah, if I don't do these things, I'll get there faster. Absolutely. 100%. 100% you're going to get there faster. If that's what you're trying to do, run that race. I'm not trying to run that race. I'll get there as long as I'm going in this direction, whether it's one step a day or 10 steps a day. I'm keeping the same direction. I'm going to the same place, right? I'll get there when I get there. When I get there, I'm going to have all of these stories to bring with me. Now, somebody else's vision could be, well, I just need to get there. And once I get there, now I'm going to start making all the stories. Cool. We're both trying to get to the same place. There's just different routes to get there. That's a conversation I would have with my dad all the time when we're working because he's got his process to do things. And then you'll have me, maybe my process where it's like this, but we get to the same place. Maybe his way is better. Maybe my way is better. But neither of us wants to listen to the other one. That's kind of what makes it fun. But as I said, we'll definitely do some of those when it gets warm because there are some projects that we're gonna have to work on together. We had some stuff last year, uh, but I wasn't really doing any of this at that time. So I'll definitely get him involved more this year. But yeah, with that, I mean, shoot, I've been here for a while. I guess the ramblings been a bit too long. I'll stop now, I guess, and go and pour myself a drink, sit back, play some music. You know, I like it mellow, and just relax, and probably look at this over again and identify the things that I was doing because that's just what I do. Um, but yeah, so until next week, guys. Whoever watched this live, thanks for taking the time. Anybody watching it on a replay, thanks for taking time to look at it. Comments, good comments, bad comments, they are all welcome. I always like to hear um, what something that I did incorrectly, something you think I shouldn't be doing. Because as you notice, there's no pen clicking because I have no pens here. Because actually, there's one here. People don't seem to like me clicking the pen, but I do. Um, yeah, shoot over the comments. And who, if somebody wants to come by and sit down and be a part of it, shoot me a message. Come on over, sit in. It's fun. It'll be a good time. I promise you. Until next week, guys. Have yourselves a good weekend. Stay safe out there. As I said, cheers to everybody. To the weekend. Make it a productive one. Make next week productive as well. Do me a favor. Stand in front of the mirror. The next time you go into the bathroom, stand in front of the mirror and ask yourself, what are we really doing? We weren't put here just to work and pay bills and, make poor choices in what we're eating, right? There's a whole life out there waiting for us to live. Why aren't we living it? And if the answer you come up with is the people around you, shoot me a message. We definitely need to have a one-on-one conversation. So until then, guys, have a good one. I'll see you next week, or maybe I'll see you tomorrow because I'm going to try to do that tomorrow. I'll set up the new tech so we can do some see what kind of craziness we can do. Might as well start it on Saturday stupidity. Yeah, sure, that's a good one. Yeah. See you guys. Let me end all of these. Um, And that's the other.